Welcome back to the episode of Ask the Attorney. I'm your host, Alex Alexander with Client Focused Media. Today, I'm really excited to bring Mary Nash with Bear the Puppet Legal from Nash Law Firm. Big enough to handle anything, small enough to care. Find them online at mommellaw.com. Welcome, Mary. How are you today?
I'm doing great. And how are you?
I'm short, bald, and incredible, and thank you for asking. So we had spoken a little bit, but before we came on camera, and you specialize in basically estate planning and that kind of thing, and you've actually written a couple of books. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I have. I've written one book that's helping hands across time. How we help our parents help us, grandparents help us, and then I've written another one that's kind of entertaining. Greed made me do it. That's the story. Fallout over things that really don't have any value, money value. My grandma wore that. My grandpa sawed with that. We went hunting with that, and somebody else in the family got it. And now I'm never going to speak to him again. And so our job is to try to stop as much of that as possible.
And speaking of that, right? So when a person, as a person ages and something happens, and of course their time on earth is gone. If there's not a plan in place, there can be this kind of infighting in family members and that kind of stuff. Tell us. I know that you guys like 80% of your business is estate planning. Tell us a little bit about the difference between planning a will, planning a living trust, and of course POAs and guardianships and that kind of stuff.
Well, one of the things that Bear and I always say is if you have $1 and 2 relatives, you need to do some estate planning. And estate planning can be doing nothing. It goes through probate to get it out to your heirs. Keep in mind that probate is there to pay your bills. It's not there to give your heirs what you've left them. If you have a will, at least we know who's going to be the executor. At least we hope we know. We know where the distribution is going to go if you've left someone out or more to one than to the other. But we look so much at revocable living trust to say, I want to avoid probate. I want my heirs to have access to what I have left them when I die. And of course, we can say you can't have it all at one time. You can have it over time. I have a wonderful 24-year-old grandson. He's a student. He works. He's a good kid. But I don't think he's financially astute enough to manage a large sum of money. So I've spread it out for him over the years. And as I tell the young attorneys in our firm, elder law practice, estate planning is the best practice in the world because every day when you get up, you're coming to the office to do something good for the client, for their family, for their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, right on down the bloodline.
I don't think it could be said any better. Obviously, I speak to a lot of people in law, and a lot of them are, of course, they do different things, whether it be a personal injury or whatever the case may be, family law. And I do know that, the burnout rate for those doing family law, we're talking about divorces and that kind of stuff, is very high. But to be in a field where you're actually helping no matter how you slice it, right? No, nobody loses on this. So
that's exactly right. Yeah. The beautiful part about it is when you die, you can leave your children's inheritance or grandchildren's inheritance so that it's protected so that nobody can take it away from them. Like a spouse, creditors, lawsuits, bankruptcy. I can protect my children's inheritance so that it goes to my children. And if something happens to my child, it goes to my grandchildren. And right on down the bloodline, you can protect it for generations. It's wonderful.
That is actually incredible. So tell us, is there a term that you associate with that? Obviously, we're talking about your estate itself and the planning that you're setting. But what kind of term are you talking about where people can't touch those assets going forward?
Well, we leave it in trust for our children. We leave our children in control of their share. I always tell clients, think about a trust as a box. My job is to build the box to your specifications. Create the trust the way you want it. And then we say, when I'm gone, this goes out to my children all at one time in trust for them, or it goes out over time, like to my grandson, 5% a year from ever. Or I can, provide for them to buy a house, making sure that it's their house, not their spouse's house in case there's a divorce. So I can protect my children's inheritance on down through the years by creating a trust for them. And of course, we run into the situation a lot of times where we have a child or grandchild destroying some sort of state benefit that's a repayment benefit. We call those supplemental needs or special needs trust, where we're protecting what they're going to inherit from everything. That could be state recovery, whatever. But we want to make sure that it gets to our heirs, not their creditors.
That is incredible. That's what we want to make sure people have. That's it's one thing to give all this lump sum to somebody and they blow it, but it's something else where this money is being somebody or coming to somebody that's actually fiduciary responsible, and then something happens that money is taken away from them. So I appreciate what you do. And I want to say thank you. And thank you everybody out there for tuning into this episode of Ask the Attorney. If you'd like to learn more about Mary Nash, and of course, bigger than Peppa Legal, you can go to amolaw.com or here at iwannabuzz.com. Do something good for yourself. And as Mary does, do something good for others.